Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the arrival of Michael Bullock. If he shows up, great. Then we'll catch up on what he missed. If he's not here tonight, then unfortunately, we'll see him when we go back to our regular schedule on Monday night. That's right. This is going to be the last, hopefully the last time that we're going to have to do this crazy, unconventional style schedule that we've been doing lately. But you know, it is what it is. We've had a good time with it, but I know Anthony's been chomping at the bit to go back to normalcy. I've been chomping at the bit to go back to normalcy a little bit, and that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to go back to normalcy starting on Monday night for Monday Night Raw. So, with that said, we go into SmackDown Live to start it off. And guys, when we did start it off, we started it off with a promo segment. Bianca Belair. It was actually a 2-for-1. So Bianca Belair comes out, interrupted by Seth Rollins, interrupted by Bayley. Then Cesaro came out to basically stop everything in its tracks, and then we went into the actual match, and it was a mixed tag. It was Bayley and Seth Rollins versus Bianca Belair and Cesaro, and Bayley and Seth Rollins wins the match in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. So, look, the segment was paint by numbers. It was what it needed it to be. It was solid. It was good. I think a lot of people are going to say that it really turned when Rollins and Bayley came out. Bianca, I mean, she did all right with her promo. I mean, there's been some people that's been on her about her promo work lately, which, I mean, I thought she did fine with it. But at the end of the day, they did really well with it. And then the match itself was just as good. I could say a solid 3 stars, had ample time, told a good story, and on top of that, giving Bayley a big win to knock off the reigning knock off the reigning champion, opening the door as a championship committee moment. I think this was a solid opener to Friday Night SmackDown. So Anthony Florio, I give it to you. Bayley, Cesaro, Seth Rollins, and Bianca Belair gave us a pretty good, entertaining 20 minutes worth of SmackDown action.
That they did, MF, I'll tell you. But I got to be honest. Sometimes these opening promo segments on WWE television feel way too much like filler, this one included, designed specifically to burn some television time. This was one of them. Nothing was accomplished. The show is neither better nor worse off for the segment having happened. It was merely there to introduce a match that was already announced by WWE earlier in the day. So why bother? And the cringeworthy dialogue did not help matters. At least the Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso backstage segment beforehand created intrigue and set the stage for later in the night. Match, about 3 to 3.25 stars. This was perfectly acceptable wrestling from 4 of the best on the roster. The timing and execution was a little wonky because of the mixed tag stipulation, but all 4 looked good, and both feuds had the opportunity to shine. If there was a negative, it is that the feuds involved did not need to, nor should they have continued past Hell in a Cell. Yet here we are, ready to beat both into the ground as only WWE in its repetitive booking can. That's unfortunate because all performers involved are deserving of better than treadmill storytelling. I'm sorry about that, but it's just the way I feel. So I honestly don't like when you have a match already announced, and then you got to have a pointless and unnecessary promo segment to beforehand. So that's something that really needs to stop. If you're gonna promote a match beforehand, get right to it, not throw this stuff at us because it's good. Because fans are gonna start to get sick of it. I know I have. So that's my only complaint. But other than that, fine all around. So 3 to 3.25 star effort. So not much more to say except MF. We had a coronation of a new king in the WWE, and a very deserving one, I might add.
It's been a long time since we had one of these coronations. However, it did happen. And yes, the coronation of Shinsuke Nakamura. Uh, it was very short, sweet, and straight to the point, Anthony Florio. There was really not much pomp and circumstances on this, but it's very telling because of the fact that and we've seen coronations in our day, especially going all the way back to about the 1980s when Harley Race was coronated as a king. Then it went to Haku, went to Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and we all remember that on Superstars of Wrestling way back when, where Mean Gene Okerlund was presided over that. And then, of course, when Macho King Randy Savage got coronated, and it was the Genius and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase presiding over that historic moment. There's been a few coronations, of course, with King of the Ring. However, this is the first official non-King of the Ring coronation we've had since literally, I want to say, since 1991.
Wow.
Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, been a long time. And what made those coronations fun was seeing all the other wrestlers in the ring as a part of that. I mean, when Haku was crowned, that was Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was the one who
with the Heenan family.
Yeah, the Heenan family, and I think there were other heel superstars in there, if I'm not
mistaken.
There
were. Yep, if I remember correctly, there were a few.
Yep. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, like you said, Mean Gene Okerlund presided over the coronation, and several top baby faces were in there to celebrate with Hacksaw.
A lot of good mid-card guys. I think it was Demolition were there. I think the Hart Foundation were there.
Yep.
Ronnie Garvin, I think, was out there. Coco Beware was definitely out there. Hercules was out there.
Certainly.
Oh yeah, there was a few guys.
And of course, when Macho King Randy Savage was coronated, it was the Genius, who, in case any of you have been living under a rock all this time, is actually Macho's real life brother.
Yeah.
Lanny Poffo, and he the way the Genius handled that coronation, I mean, that was, it was so eloquent, so, elegant, regal. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. And that's all I can say on that. $1 Million Man.
I gotta say this, Florio. As a face commentator, I would have been literally rolling my eyes the whole time while you would be eating this up, and you definitely have every right to be eating this up. This would have been a Gorilla Monsoon. Oh, please get out of here with this.
Stop the pain and all that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all the other coronations after that were for winning the King of the Ring tournament. We didn't really see, a bunch of superstars, joining in on the celebration. It would be, like a Mean Gene Okerlund or a Todd Pettengill or Doc Hendricks or somebody for the first few years of that pay-per-view when Mean Gene for Bret Hart, Todd Pettengill for Owen, and I think he presided over Mabel as well. And
Sir Mo.
That's right, Sir Mo.
Mo from Men on a Mission did it because Todd Pettengill didn't get there in time.
Yeah, Sir Mo handled that, and then of course Doc Hendricks with perhaps the most infamous coronation of all.
Yes.
Which just celebrated the 25th anniversary of Stone Cold Steve Austin 316. We all know how that went. So, and oh boy, but and I didn't really remember anything else after that. So
I think Todd Pettengill did the 97 one, which was Triple H's. And I think that was the last time they ever did like an actual
formal coronation.
Yeah.
I didn't recall Shamrock doing anything.
Shamrock never did one. Edge, Billy Gunn, I don't ever remember getting a formal one. Angle didn't get it, but he wore the hat and he wore the King of the Ring garb, but he never really had a.
And Edge, you remember that trophy, which looked like a poor man's version of the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I love that.
Dude, so many people poo-pooed all over it, though. Oh, my God, that looked ugly. It looked cool. I'll give you that. It looked cool.
It looked like the Stanley Cup a little bit.
It looked like the Stanley Cup a little bit, but oh, God, did it get slammed by the fans.
Yeah, and I didn't really recall anything for Lesnar. But I'm certain they did one for Booker when Booker won that tournament in 2006. I think they did one for Booker.
They did one for Booker.
Regal.
Yep, it was Regal. Yep, it was Regal and Charmel. I remember that. Yep.
Well, Regal also won 2 years later. He won that on Monday Night Raw, and
there was no formal coronation.
I could have sworn there might have been, unless
I don't think there was a formal coronation. I remember him sitting on the throne, but I don't ever remember a formal coronation for him.
And then Sheamus in 2010.
He had one. That was when that what was that girl's name? She was the one that was on Tough Enough. The beauty queen. Man, we're drawing a blank.
Yeah, we'll have to go into the archives for that one.
Yeah, but I remember she was there and she presented Sheamus. She actually put the robe on him. She put the crown on him. And that was the only thing that I remember about Sheamus being coronated as getting a formal coronation for a King of the Ring.
And then Barrett won in 15 that special.
Yeah.
It was that special that they had on the network.
Yep, WWE Network King of the Ring special. Yep.
And then from there we also had and then Corbin won it, but maybe I don't remember if they did anything with that, but you know, a lot of memories here, a lot of great coronations in history, you know, mainly back in the 80s and, you know, the early years of the King of the Ring pay-per-view. And I have heard some possible rumblings that once WWE gets back on the road in front of the fans, oh yeah, there's the young lady there. Okay, I see the video here. Found it on YouTube there. Rima Faki.
Yes, there it is. There she is.
That was the young lady who did that in 2010. Yep, I remember now. A lot of great coronations. That's the point we're trying to make here. You know, like all those in the 80s and the early years of the pay-per-view in the 90s. I'm sorry, but this one, you know, it was meaningless. We get it. Nakamura is the new king of SmackDown. That was established a week ago. Corbin is distraught, something also established last week. This did nothing to further things or make the show, the feud, or the superstars involved any more or less interesting. What was intriguing, though, what happened after the segment, though, was Seth Rollins' sudden shift in demeanor as he staked his claim to the Universal Championship. And it was refreshing to see him back to a somewhat less delusional persona and focusing on winning a title again. His chase for the gold bears watching, although someone else had something to say about that at the end of the night. Spoiler alert. But anyways, kind of a meaningless segment, but you know, MF, it did. I will say this though, it did conjure up for me. It definitely conjured up all of the memories of all those classic coronations from yesteryear. That it did, but this segment, not so much. Sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait. You know what? Like I said, I thought it was short, sweet, and straight to the point. I think it really didn't need to be anything over the top or anything like that. I actually did not mind the coronation of Nakamura. I think it was just, like you said, it was to kill time. It was to fill it, to do a little filler. But, you know, it is what it is. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony, I'll let you lead off on this one, though. It was a Money in the Bank qualifying match. It was Big E versus Apollo Crews. Big E goes to Money in the Bank. He goes to the ladder match. 12 minutes and 55 seconds. I think we got to sell at least a front runner on the SmackDown side right now.
Oh, SmackDown definitely needed some. They needed somebody. I mean, look who Raw already has with Ricochet, John Morrison, and Riddle. And then come Monday night, we're going to round that sucker out with either Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, or AJ Styles. So, and I'll tell you what, this was one of Big E and Apollo Crews' best matches to date, even if the WWE Universe has no real reason to ever want to see them wrestle again, given how many matches they have been involved in together in recent months. The booking of Crews left something to be desired, especially late, as it suggested the champion is unable to win a match without Commander Aziz interfering on his behalf. Yes, the big man is a heater. Yes, his job is to make fans hate Crews and the fact that he cheats to win. But would it have hurt WWE Creative to book Crews like a competent challenger to Big E before dropping the match? Elsewhere, Sami Zayn, he continues to be one of the most entertaining stars in any company with his introduction of Karma and the Cosmos to his conspiracy-riddled rantings. Again, though, the Zayn-Owens match as next week's show loses appeal based on the number of times fans have witnessed that particular combination in recent weeks. However, after the stipulation that was announced for that bout, I think we might have to change our tune on that one a little bit. So, but anyways, I got to give this 3.5 stars, teetering on 3 3/4. I could go as far as to call this the fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest with you. So, MF, you needed a big threat from SmackDown to counteract the 3 competent talents we have from Raw, and then we're gonna get the meat and potatoes of the Raw side come Monday night. No matter who comes out of it, that's going to be the ultimate threat. And whoever comes out of that match on Monday night, that is going to be the biggest threat from Monday Night Raw, hands down, regardless of who it is. Even though we all think it's going to be McIntyre. So, but anyways, MF, you needed it. You got it. You got Big E, and I'm sure you're very pleased with the first SmackDown guy. And next week, Zayn or Owens. Last man standing. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, first off, everybody knows Big E's been we've been trying to push for Big E to get an opportunity for a while now. A lot of people's been saying about Big E being a championship contender. Everybody's been talking about Big E possibly fighting for the Universal title. Now here he is getting a shot and gonna be in Money in the Bank. I mean, how much better can that be? And look at look how stacked the men's side is already. I mean, we got guys who are really right there, guys who are hungry enough that people wants to see, and people think that are championship material. When you got Riddle, when you got Ricochet, when you got John Morrison, especially on Monday Night Raw, 3 guys who've been criminally underutilized, especially Ricochet and Morrison. Riddle's been pretty good. But now you got a guy on SmackDown in Big E that a lot of people believe should have been at least in contention for the Universal Championship. You and I both have said that, Florio, and I agree, and we both agreed that Big E deserves a moment. He deserves a spot. He deserves a shot. He got it. He's now going to Money in the Bank. Does that give us the ultimate payoff where he could win the title? We don't know. We don't know if it gives him the briefcase. If it does, I mean, holy freaking crap, that'd be amazing. He gets a shot at the title now. But at the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So we're going to move on along. That was a solid fight. And like you said, best match of the series between the champion and the challenger. So we'll go from there. And the next thing we had was a promo segment by Sonya Deville that announces Carmella. Carmella goes to Money in the Bank representing the SmackDown women. As you know, the Raw women are done. The core 4 is set on that end. As it's going to be Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross. That's for the Raw. SmackDown just announced that Carmella's the first, and then Liv Morgan's like, hey, whoa, hold up. Carmella? Really? You're going to give her the shot? I beat her last week. Why don't I get a shot and fight for and fight? against her, and maybe I get a shot. And if I win, I go to Money in the Bank. Well, you know, that's fine. Sonia's like, all right, if you win, I'll consider you. They have the match. Liv wins. Liv Morgan wins the match. Now there is some uncertainty right now. Has Liv Morgan punched her ticket to Money in the Bank? Some are claiming yes. Some are saying hold the phones. Hold on. We don't know yet. I think Liv should get in. I think Liv Morgan deserves the spot. She earned the right. She's been looking great lately. She just went on her own. She doesn't have her partner, Ruby, anymore. So she's on her own, and she's already won twice in 3 weeks. I think she deserves a shot at Money in the Bank. Now, if Sonya starts playing politicking, this could be very interesting. But Carmella is in. Liv Morgan is a huge question mark. But to me, Anthony Florio, Liv Morgan just earned her shot at Money in the Bank. I would pencil her in right now as a yes, but it's not in pen yet. The ink is not there. I have it in pencil, but not in pen yet.
No, and I got a feeling Sonya's probably going to put her through the ringer. I just got this feeling she's going to probably put her through the ringer and, you know, have her keep proving herself. And I agree. I think she deserves an opportunity on the SmackDown side. I mean, she has improved leaps and bounds over the last year. I could tell you that from, you know, when she was on Raw before she was drafted over to SmackDown. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the match was nothing special. I mean, the match was probably maybe half to one at best. Ho-hum diva fight, if I'm going to be honest with you. I hate to say that, but especially nowadays, but it is true because it had the feel of a ho-hum diva fight a la 10 years ago or so. But yes, I agree. The only thing that, you know, really bothers me is the politicking. I mean, if you're going to have these men and women earn their way in via qualifying matches, why did they make an exception for Carmella? Why? That's what I want to know. Why did they make an exception for Carmella? Why did they just say, "Oh, here you go, Carmella. Here's a free pass for you"? I get it, but if you're gonna have these qualifying matches, if you're serious about having these qualifying matches, everybody should earn their way in. No free passes, no nothing. I don't care who you are. You earn that son of a gun. You don't just say, "Oh, you know, just because you know they're high on your social standing or whatever." No. That's not how we do it, and that's damn sure not how I do it. If it was me, I would want to earn my way in. I don't want no damn free pass. So, because that's how much I respect the business. So, that's all I can say on that. MF, I mean, if you're gonna have these folks, you know, if you're going to have these qualifying matches and have everybody earn their way in, do that. No free passes. I don't care who you are. That's it. So, mini rant over. Ho-hum diva fight. Liv deserves an opportunity. 100% agree with you.
Yeah, and I totally get, and I get where you're coming from about there should be no free passes. Why is she getting a free pass into the thing? I mean, if you're gonna do it that way, yeah, I totally agree. I think she totally deserves a shot. You know, if Carmella truly deserves it, she has to fight her way into Money in the Bank, not get handed it on a silver platter. But then again, this is Sonya Deville, and that's the problem that we have here is that this was Sonya's call. If this was Adam Pearce, maybe she has to go through a hoop or to go through someone. But Sonya's the one that made the call. Sonya gave her the free pass in. And the one thing that you could say that could give Carmella the reason why she got in is, A, she's not only a one-time winner of Money in the Bank, she's a two-time winner of Money in the Bank.
And a former champion.
Huh?
And a former women's champion on top.
And a former women's champion. So obviously, if you want to go that route, then I totally get it. I think that's fair. It is what it is. But if you're going to do it that way, then you could say the same thing about Asuka. You could say the same thing about Alexa Bliss. They're both former Money in the Bank winners, and they both went on to win a title. So they should have gotten free passes automatically if you're going to play that card. But, it is what it is. I mean, again, it's Sonya Deville. Are you really gonna toe the line with that baby girl, Florio? Are you gonna try to challenge her authority?
No, probably not.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to see. I was like, don't get me wrong. I would love to see you try to challenge her on her authority, but I don't know. She's too good looking for me to lose that battle. So nothing more to say. Next up we had was Jimmy Uso versus Dolph Ziggler. Jimmy Uso wins in 9 minutes and 35 seconds. Solid fight. Solid match. Look, Jimmy Uso said that he had a point to make, that this was something that he needed it to do, and he did it. Well done. Big win for him. Good match. Good victory. I really got nothing more to add. This was a solid match. About 3 stars for me. Anthony Floyo, what's yours?
Yeah, third best fight of the night. Solid 3 stars. Outcome was never in doubt. I had a feeling Jimmy Uso was going to win this thing, and he did. So now the Roman Uso saga continues, and we'll wait and see how this plays out. We still got Jay on the horizon. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if that's storyline related or if he's injured. I don't know what's going on with that, but keep an eye out for it. But a big win for Jimmy Uso against an established, performer in Dolph Ziggler, multi-time champion in his own right, a former Mr. Money in the Bank. He's a former Grand Slam winner. We all know that. So big win for Jimmy Uso. So not much more to say. Third best fight, 3 stars. So with that being said, MF, the Tribal Chief addresses him and Paul Heyman. They address the universe about the state of the Universal Championship, and wait till you hear how this one turned out.
Well, let's just say Paul Heyman insert foot open mouth, because that's what happened to him. Basically saying that, there's nobody left. There's nobody there to challenge him on the blue brand. Oh no, there's somebody there. The Rated R superstar Edge showed up and jumped Roman Reigns. And on top of that, early this morning on Talking Smack, on exclusively on Peacock and on the WWE Network, if you are outside of the United States, but if you're in the USA, you can watch this exclusively on Peacock. Kayla Braxton made it official, guys. Money in the Bank. Roman Reigns must defend the Universal Championship against the Rated R Superstar Edge. Anthony Florio, a red hot way to close SmackDown Live. And Kayla, the baby girl, just dropped a nuke on us this morning.
And I'll tell you, when we heard the You Think You Know Me, MF and I, we immediately did the Corey and Sean, and then MF lets out the big old what? And then that was it. Oh, brought back memories. The one I'll never forget was Survivor Series 2008. You know what I mean by that. But segment of the night, no doubt about it. Well, as I would usually like to say, so that happened. It was certainly buzzworthy and an unexpected close to the show. Edge returned and sent a message to Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman that he's right here, as he exclaimed to end the show. The question is why anyone would be interested in seeing the Rated R Superstar challenge Reigns when the Tribal Chief already beat him and Daniel Bryan in the triple threat match at WrestleMania. Luckily, WWE has its best storyteller in Reigns, a respected and beloved babyface in Edge, in a few weeks before Money in the Bank to tell whatever story it is figuring to tell. Where does this leave Seth Rollins, though? who expressed his desire for a title match earlier in the night. Time will tell. But I have heard rumblings and rumors that there is talks that WWE wants to do a match at SummerSlam with Edge versus Seth Rollins. Now that would be a fun match. That would be a hell of a fight. So could that be for the title? I don't know. I doubt it, but nonetheless, though, Money in the Bank. Well, Monday Night Raw, we had our moment. We finally got to main event a pay-per-view for the first time in months. Well, I think SmackDown's going to take that sucker back next month, because with Edge being in there and with Roman, doing what Roman's been doing, there's no way that's not the main event. No way. So, potential show stealer here. Now we're going to get to see what, we thought we were going to see at WrestleMania before they added Bryan to it, and that ended up being one of the a top match of the year candidate for this year. So, but segment of the night, no doubt about it. The match is going to be a banger, so it's going to be great, and that's definitely got show stealer potential. MF, that match and the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, 3 show stealers right there.
And not only that, but you also got to add Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE title as well.
Another show stealer, possible.
So now Money in the Bank is stacking up to be a heck of a show.
Fort Worth, get ready, Dickies Arena.
Yeah, Fort Worth with the fans and everything else. Yeah, this has got the makings to be an incredible match coming up. So no, without a doubt. We got a situation on our hands that WWE it looks like they're pulling all the stops out now. They're getting ready for that big title. They're getting ready to bring the fans back. Fans are coming back in less than a few weeks. Money in the Bank is supposed to be the Smackdown in Houston. It's supposed to be the first one at the Toyota Center. That's supposed to be the first official event with fans back. And then from there, we got, like you said, Money in the Bank, Monday Night Raw, and all roads now leads to Vegas and Allegiant Stadium for SummerSlam. They got the makings of this to be one incredible pay-per-view event. So really nothing more to add. Yeah, this has got the makings to be an incredible show. Nothing to say. As far as overall thoughts goes, it was a solid show. Of course, there's a couple of moments that weren't so great. The Mella versus Liv Morgan match, you don't know if that really, how that would have played out. I don't know if it punched her ticket to Money in the Bank. If it did, great. If it didn't, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see there. But it was all in all a decent show. I won't say it was the greatest show, but a lot of people still praising SmackDown, saying how it's so much better than Monday Night Raw. And I'll tell you, the closing angle, I think, really made the show an absolute home run. So for me, I could give this about maybe 7 out of 10, and I'm going to be very generous with that call. So nothing more to say. Anthony, I'll give it a 7 out of 10, and mainly because of the shocking surprise of Edge. But there was a couple of decent matches along the way, with Big E going to Money in the Bank, with possibly Liv Morgan going to Money in the Bank now. And then, of course, it being bookend with Roman Reigns. Roman's the best thing on SmackDown, but now he's got himself quite a dance partner with the Rated R Superstar Edge.
Oof. And on top of that, not just the closing segment with Edge, but also we had three solid matches. Big E and Apollo, that was the fight of the night. The mixed tag, that was good as well. And Jimmy Uso and Dolph Ziggler, 3 quality matches there. Yes, we had a ho-hum diva fight. Coronation segment, could have been better, but it is what it is there. And a couple other things here and there, but 7 out of 10. I definitely agree with the rating for SmackDown. And next week, what can you say? Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, last man standing match, Money in the Bank qualifier. Winner joins Big E on the SmackDown side for Money in the Bank. and we'll have the Raw side all squared away. So I don't know what else there is to say. So 7 out of 10 for me. And MF is just 2 Smackdowns away from having the fans back. And Smackdown will start the whole thing on July 16th at the Toyota Center in Houston. So, Houston, you got a problem, but a good one. Not often we say that, but it's true. So, not much more to say. MF, Saturday night, AEW Dynamite with a main event, with a very highly anticipated main event.
Absolutely. We started it off with Adam Hangman Page versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Adam Hangman Page wins the match in 12 minutes and 44 seconds. Good match. Good solid opening. I could give this about 3 to 3.5 stars. They did very well. It was an enjoyable match. But I'm happy that Adam Hangman Page gets the win, keeps his momentum going, and there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it's yours.
I'll give it about 3.25, 3.5. I mean, Adam Page is as consistently great a performer as AEW has right now, a performer who can be counted on to deliver in any spot on the card against just about any wrestler on the roster. He pops the crowd, creates energy for his matches, and proceeds to back everything up once the bell rings. This was no different, despite an inadvertent cut on the back of his head. He fought through and made Powerhouse Hobbs look every bit his equal right up to the finish. Hobbs himself continued to demonstrate why he is as promising a young star as the company has, thanks to improved timing and a moveset that evolves with every passing bout. He is going to be an enormous star for AEW one day, and working with guys like Hangman will only help him get there sooner. Brian Cage hitting the ring to chase off Ricky Starks and Taz's son Hook was a nice touch and continues his breakup from Team Taz and the eventual feud with Powerhouse Hobbs, maybe over the FTW Championship. That Hoss battle should be hella fun to watch. The Machine and the Powerhouse, possibly down the road. Get ready for one hell of a be a man Hoss fight if that happens. 3.25, 3.5, second best fight of the night for me. So not much more to say, MF. Let's continue on. And well, looky here, your old friend MF, one of your old favorites, someone who you've been a fan of since his days in Wrestling Society X, and of course when he was Evan Bourne, especially when he was Evan Bourne in WWE and all the fun we had with that. So set up the next match, MF, and I'll start it.
Yeah, it was first off, Dante Martin goes up against Matt Sydal. That's the guy Anthony is alluding to, with his brother, Mike Sydal. And when it was all said and done, yeah, Matt Sydal wins the match in 9 minutes and 35 seconds. Anthony, it is yours.
9:35. Definitely a 3-star bout here. The pre-match tease of Matt Sydal versus Andrade El Idolo should have fans salivating because that matchup is almost guaranteed to deliver excellence between the ropes. Sydal and Martin delivered a fun, competitive bout that showcased young Martin before ultimately giving Sydal a much-needed win as his presence on the show figures to increase. There will be some who suggest the idea of Andrade versus Sydal is hardly what the newcomer should be involved in if the goal is to make him into a star right out of the gate, but they would be wrong. Sydal is a great bumper and creative worker. Putting him in there with Andrade will not only result in a great match, but put El Idolo over as strongly as possible. In other news, the Inner Circle versus Pinnacle feud needlessly continued, albeit with more strong booking of future star Sammy Guevara. So, solid 3 stars for this. So, MF, I mentioned Andrade because Vicky Guerrero, excuse me, and all this stuff. She came out and, man, could you imagine Matt Sydal against Andrade El Idolo on that?
That's gonna be quite a good match, and we'll see how that plays out. 3 stars is the rating for the match. Like you said, Matt Sydal, he is no spring chicken, man. He's not the Evan Bourne that we remember back in the day. He is still trying to find his way back to being the top star, and yeah, he's done real good. His brother is rising up in the rankings as well. This is a team that you've got to keep a close eye on that could be contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Championship down the line. But we'll wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, this was a solid 3-star match. Next up, we had Ethan Page versus Bear Bronson. Ethan Page wins the match in 10 minutes and 28 seconds. Another good match, another okay fight. Another 3-star battle. The thing is that I kind of want to see where they're going to go with this, but at the end of the day, Paige and Bronson, uh, they could have gotten more time out of it, but they got a little too much time as I thought. They got more time than they probably should have gotten, but it was all right for what it was worth. So I really got nothing bad to say. And yeah, and then Ethan Page calls out Darby Allin and has challenged them to a coffin match on July 7th. Yes, that's the day that AEW goes live on July 7th in Miami, Florida, down at the Miami University. And he's calling for a coffin match? Uh-oh. Are you sure you want to do that, Ethan? Okay, bro. Florio, Ethan Page versus Darby Allin, July 7th in a coffin match.
I don't believe has there been a coffin match in AEW before?
No.
Would be
this is the first. Yeah.
Well, for those of you who, once again, like for those of you who've been living under a rock and don't know what a coffin/casket match is, it's very simple. Simply put, you got to beat the hell out of your opponent, beat him senseless, and then drag it, and then throw his prone body into the casket and shut the lid, and you're a winner. We have seen a lot of these, mainly, because of WWE and the whole 9 yards. And I mean, a lot of them, almost every one of them involved The Undertaker in some way, shape, or form. I mean, but anyways, 3-star match. Ethan Page appeared to be hampered by a lower right leg injury early, but shook it off and turned in a solid performance against the Game Bear Bronson. Despite the big man's status as a primarily tag team wrestler, he performed up to the moment and never appeared to be over his head in there with a veteran competitor like Page. The proposed coffin match is intriguing, if only because the company has yet to try anything like it to this point in its short history. It will be interesting to see the execution of such a match, but the talent involved should ensure it is an above-average in-ring affair. So I'm very intrigued by this, and I mean, and what a time to do it, MF. The first show outside of Daly's place on the campus of the University of Miami, on July 7th when AEW's first night touring again. So I don't think they could have picked a better night to do it. So makes that show even more intriguing. So 3 stars for me. So MF, Ethan Page, and Darby Allin, coffin, casket match, whatever you want to call it. They'll probably call it a coffin match because WWE probably calls it a casket match and everything else. So we haven't heard them call it a coffin match since the inaugural one with Taker and Kamala at the 92
back in
Survivor
1992. Yeah.
So, and I think they switched it to casket match after that. So
yeah.
But anyways, I'm intrigued. First ever in AEW history. And like I said, MF, I don't think they could have picked a better time to do it. The first night they go back to touring and they're going to throw this at us. Wow.
Yep. And then, this is the Tony special. Are you ready for the Bunny versus the Alien?
Oh, yeah.
Down. The Bunny goes 1-on-1 with the Alien, Chris Statlander. And the winner of the bout in 8 minutes and 34 seconds was Chris Statlander. But after the match, the Hybrid 2, they got a hold of Orange Cassidy and the Blade. Oh, my. Poor Orange Cassidy gets knocked out with brass knucks. Youch.
Oof.
Florio, it's yours.
Yes, MF said it was a Tony special. It's well documented. I very much have a thing for the Bunny. I've had a thing for her since she was Allie in Impact Wrestling, and but what she's been doing, since they turned her into the Bunny, I mean, that's when my love affair with that one really kicked into high, if you know what I mean. And yeah, Chris Statlander, I'll tell you what, I mean, cutie patootie in her own right. I mean, I definitely, I think she's got a little attractiveness there. So I don't really go gaga over her, but But I do like her though. I like her in-ring ability, and she picks up a big win here. I mean, definitely should put her, maybe move her up the rankings a little bit. Statlander and Bunny had solid in-ring chemistry, and the win allowed the latter to build momentum for herself as she continues her comeback from a serious major knee injury. The Hardy family office's post-match beatdown of Orange Cassidy puts Freshly Squeezed on a collision course with the faction. Perhaps he might join Christian Cage in his ongoing war with Hardy's faction. You don't know. 2.5 to 3 stars for the effort. By default, it was the worst fight of the night, even though it was not remotely bad whatsoever. So, but not much more to say. MF, this is a main event that we've been waiting for almost a month now, and just like that, we finally got it here tonight. What a main event! You couldn't have picked a better night for a better main event.
The main event for AEW Dynamite for the AEW World Title: Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy. Kenny Omega wins the match in 16 minutes and 3 seconds. It was a solid main event. This was about 3.5 to 4 stars. The only thing I do not like is the post-fight shenanigans. It didn't need it. It did not need the post-fight shenanigans. It didn't need the beat down. I think if they would have ended it just with the fight itself, just with the match, I was cool with it. I thought that was a solid way to close it. They didn't need Christian Cage. You didn't need Matt Hardy out there. You didn't need the Young Bucks to do what they did. And for the heels to get on top and get yet another week of a victory, I mean, that was uncalled for. I'm sorry. That was unnecessary. You could have just did it with the match alone. The match itself told a great story, a great battle. The underdog of Jungle Boy and the inspiration that he had. You know, he had his mother, he had his sister at ringside watching this match, the biggest match of his life, and to put up against Kenny Omega, who's right now the best wrestler in the world today. If they would have just given us a great wrestling match, I was all for it. I would have given this a higher rating. The only thing was it did not need the finish. I think the finish was a little bit of an overbook. You didn't need to go that route. That's the only nitpick I have with it. But I love the wrestling psychology. I love the story that they were telling. Jungle Boy being that ultimate underdog, just got a moment where it looked like he could win it, but Omega, being the resourceful and the incredible veteran that he was able to get the job done. Anthony, it's yours.
Fight of the night, no doubt about it. No big surprise that it was. We had a feeling it would be. 4, maybe 4.25 for this. There were more than a few moments in the main event where Jungle Boy and Kenny Omega had the audience believing it was about to see a new champion crowned. That's what we in the biz call a hope spot, folks. That is a hell of a testament to what they accomplished. The reappearance of Jurassic Express as they negated the presence of the Good Brothers was a great bit of booking that really emphasized the threat Omega found himself in, particularly when Jungle Boy applied the snare trap for the first time. In the end, the predictable outcome reared its head, as did the Young Bucks joining Omega for a heat session to close out the show. And therein lies the one negative about the show. How many weeks will AEW produce the Bucks getting heat at the end of a given segment before the audience becomes burned out or otherwise unaffected by it? Matt and Nick Jackson are great heels and have relished the opportunity to fill that role, but their booking in this particular regard has become repetitive to the point that it is almost ineffective at building any more heat for them. Why? Because the audience knows it will get the same thing in a week or two. At some point, the babyfaces have to fight back and find some success. Hopefully that comes sooner rather than later. But don't get me wrong. Fight of the night, we knew it would be. The only small complaint I have about it is I think it got a little pressed for time, if you will. I was kind of hoping to see this get at least 20, maybe a little more than that. But, a little more than 15, 16 or so. I think if it had been on pay-per-view, it would have gotten a hell of a lot more time. But, It is what it is. But it wasn't quite the Shakespearean drama instant classic that it was on pins and needles about going into this. But they still put forth the match that I knew they would. 4 to 4 1/4. It's the fight of the night, no doubt about it. And kudos to referee Paul Turner for ejecting both Jurassic Express and the Good Brothers before the bout to ensure of a one-on-one match. So I admired that. So, but not much more to say there. I believe now we go into our overall review for this, and
you lead off.
And I'll start it off here. Good show tonight. A solid, very good show tonight. I got to give this about. Got to give it about 8 out of 10 for me. I mean, all the matches were solid to good to great. And if the worst fight of the night is a 2.5 to 3 star match, you're doing something right. And but no big surprise that the main event was the fight of the night. You knew it would be. We all knew it would be going in since it was made. As a very good 2 hours of TV, save for the final minute or so. That's heating things up for AEW's big return to touring next month. And, it felt like a quote-unquote go-home show for Wednesday's farewell to Jacksonville for the most part, because this was, the last non-Wednesday AEW Dynamite, because this upcoming Wednesday, it's back to stay on Wednesday nights, and it'll be the last show that will eliminate from the Daily's place in Jacksonville. And then the following week, it's on. We're back to normal. We go back to normal touring, and we got so many exciting things on the pipeline coming up. I mean, the casket coffin match. I mean, but next week though, I mean, we got a very exciting show coming up this upcoming week that we'll be talking about when the Wednesday Night Mayhem, the original Wednesday Night Mayhem, finally returns with headlined by MJF versus Sammy Guevara. You got Miro defending the TNT title against Brian Pillman Jr., Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo in a tag team title eliminator match. That means if Eddie Kingston and Penta win the match, they get a feature opportunity at the World Tag Team Championship. And then new women's champion Dr. Britt Baker will team with Rebel against Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. Yes, you heard me right. Vicky Guerrero is going to be wrestling a match. Yikes. And then, of course, July 7th, Road Rager, Ethan Page, Darby Allin coffin match. And on top of that, MF, it was also announced tonight that QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes are going to compete in what's being dubbed a South Beach strap match. So we got that on the pipeline. And it was also announced that on one of the Fyter Fest shows that Nyla Rose will cash in her women's title opportunity against Dr. Britt Baker. So a lot of exciting things on the pipeline, folks. That's all there is to say on that. So get ready. A lot of exciting things coming, especially this upcoming Wednesday night. So if you're an AEW fan like MF and I are, get excited because a lot of exciting things are coming. Get ready. So 8 out of 10 for me. MF, take it home.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 8 out of 10, a solid show. No doubt about that. And guys, we're done for the night. So Monday night, like we said, it's return of the regular schedule programming. We're going to do another Monday Night Raw show, so we're going to go from there. And there's really nothing more to add. So we'll see you guys on Monday night for a brand new edition of Ridiculously Raw exclusively on the Tone 25, YouTube.com. Until then, it's good old MF Michael Fletcher for Anthony Flayo saying so long, everybody. We'll see you on Monday night.
Goodbye.